Alright, what's up y'all? It's K-Rad here. I'm back with another good League of Legends video today. I wanted to rant a little bit about League of Legends. In regards to boxing content, don't worry. I'm actually going to cover that probably tomorrow, so stay tuned for a good video on that. But let's talk about League of Legends, because I literally went through the shittiest fucking 6 games, or 7 games, I would say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 shittiest games of my life. And I'm going to tell you how League of Legends is like the dumbest matchmaking game I've ever dealt with in my life. And I will explain to you why this game is like the worst game ever. So, I just got out of 7 ARAM games, and I was trying to obviously win. But, you know, as Riot is stupid and they can't think about matchmaking properly, they put you up against with people that don't know how to play well, and they have losing records. And I will show you every single time I've played with shitty team comps. So this previous game that I played with Mordekaiser, I had a shitty team comp that had no clue what they were doing. And it was pretty bad. I mean, I was kind of like laughing every time when my team folded. But every time when I play this game, I don't know why people int a lot in this game, but I'll just come out and say that people just don't know shit about video games. And I literally had a bunch of bronze and silver dipshits that inted the entire game. And our team con that we probably went up against were probably like the same elo. Yeah, they were unranked, retards, but either way, like, I mean, their matchmaking's not that good. I can easily tell when I'm playing up against good people, but I mean, this game alone, we were supposed to win this game. I had 10 kills, 9 deaths, and 22 assists. I was doing really good, and then my other teammates, Katarina, Nautilus, Riven, all these other dumbasses entered the entire game, while I did a lot better as far as, like, dealing more damage and taking more damage. But I mean, either way, it wasn't my fault. It was mostly like my teammates' fault. But I'll just come out and just say that every time when I'm matched up with bad teammates, you can tell by how they play that they don't give a shit about the game, and they just purposely end because they don't really care about League of Legends. So let's go into the other game that I previously had before that. I'll just get rid of that one. Alright, so this is what the second game that I was in. I was running Jarvan, which Jarvan's not a strong champion, so I try to do the best I could, but my teammates still they still entered, all game long. We had a dumbass Dr. Mundo, we had a dumb, Lulu, we had a dumb Yumi, and we had a dumb Thresh. So what does my team do? They keep on inting, and then they continue to keep on doing that for the rest of the game. Then we'll go into the third game. I was playing Karma. See, now, I'm not the best with Karma, but I still try to do the best I can to try to win the game. Same thing. We had a bunch of idiots playing with us, and we had a plat dumbass that went AP, Twisted Fate. He should have probably went a little bit attack speed, but I kind of credit him for trying it at least. But we had a bunch of idiots playing with us. We had this Leona that entered 9 kills. And, credit to my disbelief. I mean, I will say that I was trying my best, and sadly, I did get killed for 8 deaths straight. But I did try to do the best I can, as I did get 21 assists, which did play a role in trying to turn the game around. But the Fizz and the Katarina and the Leona entered way more than I did. And just based on how they build, or how they built their items all game, they were just, pretty much just being retards the entire game. So, the enemy team got fed. We had a crazy ass, Riven that was just, bullshitting, back and forth by kiting us, and then she ended up getting her power spike after she got Black Cleaver and Maw of Malmortis. And then we had a crazy ass fucking Ziggs that just kept, zoning us, to death, and just kiting us, with his, grenades and his ultimate. And, it was just horrible, man. I just had, such a horrible game. And then we ended up losing that one because our teammates are just not that fucking good. So now we go into the, to these other games. I'm not going to cover the Wukong game and the Draven game. I tried my best as Draven, and my team still fucking entered. You can see right here, same shit. I still get crappy ass teammates every single game, and Riot Games doesn't want to fix it. But I'd say that the best game out of all this had been my Rengar game. I only went 9-12, but I actually did really good with them. I think what I should have done more is that I should have attacked, the Jinx more. She got hella fed. My teammates fed super hard. This Leona fucking fed all game long. This dumbass Warwick fed. Twitch fed. Lilia, she did a great job. She mainly just kited all game long, but I did really well. I try like my best with playing Rengar, but Rengar, he's not really a team, like a team fighting friendly champion. I mean, don't get it twisted. He can get pentakills, but the problem is that, the problem with his meta is that Rengar, he's just a hit and run type of champion. He's an assassin, so like you really can't go in on Rengar all the time. But once you get like your power spike, and once you know what you're doing with Rengar, you usually know how to win. But I'd say the best games that I had out of the 7 losses probably had to been Mordekaiser and Rengar. But all the other games were absolutely shitty because my teammates decided to end every single game. You can see like right here, Akali fed, Malphite fed, Heimerdinger or Shitdinger fed, and dumbass Caitlyn fed. So that's what ended up giving the advantage to all these dumb, eradicated gold and surprisingly a diamond player. Like what? Like, how does Riot get these teams, built together? It doesn't make any sense. But I'm just gonna rant about ARAM, and then I'm going to bed immediately. I should have went to bed like 2 hours ago, but I mean, I'm not as tired because I actually got a lot of sleep earlier throughout the whole entire day. So even if I sleep now, I'll feel a lot better. So I'll be able to get knocked out pretty quickly. So yeah, let's talk about ARAM. ARAM is probably one of the most cringiest game modes ever, because all you're really doing is just 5v5ing, and you don't really have too much, how should I say, too much ability to go back to base and try to, regain health, because, the whole point of it is just to fight each other to for kills, and whoever rushes to the Nexus and wins the game wins. They do have health packs in the in the game mode itself, so that's really your only way to actually sustain in battle if you keep getting peeled. But either way, I mean, the game mode is fun. It's very quick. It's not wasting your time compared to like a normal or ranked game in League of Legends, because I will tell you, I have dealt with ARAM games, to the highest maximum of like close to 30 minutes, if not close to 45 minutes, but those games are actually more fun compared to actual Summoner's Rift games that take up to an hour or longer, because so many people are tryhard in normal games, because either one, they're probably perfecting on their skills, or two, people just don't care about wanting to win. So it makes the game a lot harder to actually try to win. See, now my problem with ARAM is that there's not enough diversity with you selecting your champions, and I think ARAM should be built like Earth, where you could select your champions, and what you have to do is that you have to be given a selected set of runes. Because I think, the problem with ARAM is that the rune pages that people are given, especially low elo dummies that don't know how to play the game, they really don't understand the rune pages very well. So especially for a higher level knowledge player, especially high elo players, I would say, they at least know what they're doing. I mean, for me myself, I'm actually pretty good. I would actually consider myself a pretty high level, knowledgeable player. But don't get it twisted. I don't play League all the time. I work 24/7, and sadly, I really don't care about League of Legends because I'm focused on my goals of what I want to do through work or through my career path versus wasting time on a video game where you're wasting time giving your labor and your wealth to a piece of crap billion-dollar company like Riot Games that has no intention of fixing it until people start leaving, or it just dies completely, and then probably those developers bring their skills over to a different company. But either way, Riot Games is a dying organization. It always has been, ever since the League of Legends started to corporatize more. And, the game itself is just like a copy-paste corporatist video game of Dota 2, for those of you that have played other MOBA games. But don't get it twisted. I mean, the game is fun. It's just that the community is so toxic and so mentally retarded. You have to really, set your foot down when enough is enough. Because I personally just don't like working with people that choose to be rude and toxic, but they do it for the wrong reasons. Because one, they don't know you, and two, people are toxic for a multitude of reasons, which I'm not going to get into. But when you're playing a simple game mode like ARAM, it should be plain and simple to show that we should have good teams being matched up against each other. If I'm winning 8 games in a row into ARAM, it should be because I'm playing with good team comp, not being matched with a bunch of shitty team comp, and then I end up getting killed, and then I lose. How the fuck does Riot Games, ever think that I'm going to give them any of my hard-earned money into this crappy video game when you guys are not going to give me good teammates and also fix up on some of these crappy-ass items that don't make any sense, giving all these weird-ass passives where people could just end up, abusing, all these crazy-ass builds that are not going anywhere. So the issue that I have personally with League of Legends is that there's no lack of diversity in the items, and then the champions that are being run into game modes like Summoner's Rift or any of the alternative game modes that they come out with, like Ultimate Spellbook, Twisted Treeline, which isn't really a game mode available anymore, or Earth or Nexus Blitz. Any of those game modes, they don't ever fix the meta of champions going into those game modes. And I think it's mainly because Riot, they want to get the money soaked out of all these champions, and then they choose not to fix them. But when people complain enough, that's when they fix them. That's probably the dumbest business model anybody could think of. But it's not like this game is invincible. It's not like anybody would not just come out of their way and start talking shit about the organization or the video game itself, and then people are not going to stop playing that game, right? Yeah, that's what's going to happen. And Riot Games knows that's what's going to happen, but guess what? I think it's because that they're trying to milk as much money that they could generate out of all these broken champions. Like, if we're going to talk broken, we could talk Irelia, we could talk Rengar, we could talk Sylas, we could talk, I'd probably say Senna, or we could talk Veigar. We could talk any of these champions that have never been put under a rework or a nerf. Riot Games still allows those champions to find ways, or still allow those champions to be vulnerable, to be broken with a certain particular build, or just anything in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how League of Legends really structures itself internally, as far as like how the animations and the coding works. But when you do play like when you do play a game, you do know that there's always some bullshit with a character that spams certain abilities to give that player the upper advantage to win the game. And I think that is a huge alarming problem for League of Legends, because nobody's not willing to play the game anymore if people are not getting their fair share and their just due in the game itself. See, now my final solution that I would have to fixing League of Legends is that, one, Riot needs to get rid of this team building system out of ARAM. ARAM should be a game mode where everybody could just choose whatever champion that they want, but it's a blind pick, and you could still ban a champion that you think is going to be broken into that game. Because I don't see how ARAM cannot be broken if people are able to ban their, if people are able to ban their counter based on what the team comp is. But also, if Riot does balance every champion, I think the game would be a lot more fun. Don't get it twisted. I think certain champions will still be exploited in a way for people to try to make that champion broken. But I think, the main, issue with that is just that, you can't nerf everything out of a champion. One champion is going to have one particular advantage over another champion, and then it's going to turn into a messy catch and switch, situation of what that champion should be doing or should be fixed on based on what the meta is being, coded for. But let's talk about the final thing I wanted to mention. I need to speak about the banning situation in League of Legends, because it seems like people get banned for the wrong reasons, and I believe banning needs to go in League of Legends. I've been saying that for quite a while, because the problems with League of Legends is simply the toxic community that chooses not to and ever be silenced out of existence for being toxic or saying the things that they believe that they want to say. I personally believe you should say whatever the hell you want onto any video game, as long as you're not coming out of your way initiating physical violence onto them. But even if two guys want to do that, they do that outside of the video game. They don't need to just do that within a video game and then talk shit to one another, and they somehow get banned, or one person gets banned while the other one was being more toxic than the other guy. So I know, like, what most of y'all would say. You guys would try to say, oh, that seems like some crybaby shit whatsoever. People need to get banned because that's how the game makes money, blah blah blah. Because if you keep all these toxic people without any form of banning or rules and regulations, then that's just going to kill off the game. And I say, well, the game is still being killed off as we speak right now. Just because, Tom, Ann, and Ron are being toxic to Jimmy, that's playing, rank flex or hyper roll, team fight tactics, doesn't mean that, that those three people that are being toxic to the other guy will still be toxic again next time that they play against each other or with them or with that, guy. So I just think the game needs to stop having this banning system, because the banning really doesn't make any work, doesn't make any sense. I think honestly the I'd say the lever buster needs to be removed. I like to see that gone, and I'd like to see the limitations on whatever item you want to make are gone. Like all this bullshit of people champions being limited to build whatever the fuck they want. You have to be, basically restricted on certain particular items that yeah, that your champion is not built, to build in. And the reason why I bring this up is because there's plenty of situations where a champion like Mordekaiser, if I want to build my season 10 setup of, giving him Rylai's or giving him like Andries, and then giving him, like, let's just say a Sunfire cape, and then end it with a Rabadon's or a Guardian Angel, I can't do that because, I'm limited to one mythic item, and then I have like a couple legendaries that I could run with, or unique items, and then, I guess like a final item just to finalize up the build. That shit don't make any sense. I should have the freedom to choose what items I want for my champion depending on the matchup, because I don't see how back in season 10 it was so broken to use, all these particular builds that were off meta, but they actually worked and they actually got people to a higher level of playing the game, and at least people know what they want to build because that's how, the meta was built for those, particular champions. But if you want to take that risk in using off meta builds, then go for it. I've ran gym bot lane before, in normal games where I've equipped 2 infinity edges for him, and he comes out of his way popping everybody. So I think that same energy should be applied to anything else in any League of Legends gaming situation. And I think, whoever comes out on top is the one that has the better build. But either way, I just think Riot is making so many dumb decisions with League, and the game itself could be a lot better if people just started calling this shit out and started to see a bigger change, or to seek one at least. So that's pretty much what I have to say. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know what you guys think about ARAM. Do you think ARAM should be gone, or do you think ARAM needs to be reworked where it's like similar to, like a normal Summoner's Rift, but the only catch is that you just have to ban your champion and then make it a blind pick. So I think that should be implemented more. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. I gotta get going, so I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.